I'm Ryan's son, and this isn't a show about your grandma's antiques. This is Mantiques. Drive there, you know, definitely pretty scenic, you know, in Clarence. A lot more scenic than the drive to the old flea market in Cheektowaga that closed down a couple weeks ago. Been there forever. Kind of sad, actually, depressed. But it's kind of scary driving there sometimes. So, okay, so we're driving in the back where you park, and it's like there's just like a forest in the back, okay? Hearing all these stories that there was a murder back there a couple years ago, you know, a while back, and it's kind of creeping me out there. It definitely looks like the murderous type of place. Okay, so you know, when we get there, we're kind of depressed at first because last time we went about 2 weeks ago, like the whole thing was filled up. The whole grass area, the parking area was filled up with vendors. And now there was very few table vendors, and we got kind of worried there. And because most of the people that were there are just like old lady antique dealers and stuff like that, that type of thing.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
But you know, once we got in there, you know, we got in there, definitely.
Hand down to your face.
I can put it this way. You want to sit back here? I'll just stand where you are. No, you stay where we are. You're good. There you go.
Okay, so the first real kind of video game seller we find is this lady in one of the storage lockers, okay? And she has this, well, first, there was this little bin filled with N64 games. The cheapest game I saw in there was $10, okay? And it wasn't even that great. Like, most of the games there were just like, you know, your cheap every run-of-the-mill games you're selling for a lot. Then in the showcase, I see a Super Mario Brothers for Super Nintendo for $20. $20, and right next to it is a crap load of like meds, and she probably, I don't know, it's just a crap load of like medicine. It was kind of shady. Definitely overpriced reseller, yeah. How much for the NES games? $5. $5 a piece. Okay.
We should buy two so
Okay.
Do you have those?
No.
Why don't you just take them all?
I'm thinking about it. If I were to buy all of these ones, how much would you go?
Be there 5.
Yeah. 1, 2, yeah, 5.
$3 a piece.
$3 a piece.
Sorry, there's a Star Wars thing in here.
Would you do $3 a piece for about 2 of these?
About 3.5.
Good. First stand we actually bought video games. 2 NES games. Didn't have. I love Navy games, especially. Huge fan of the Silent Hunter series on the PC. Almost all of those ones. So I picked this one. It's called Silent Service. Looking to play this one. Probably put it in my personal collection. Next one is Tiger Heli. Also for the NES. Picked both of those up for $3.50. So definitely a good deal. He originally wanted 5. Kind of overpriced considering a lot of the games he had were sports games. He didn't have a whole lot of games. He probably had 10 games maybe. So haggled them down to that. And then on my way out, I kind of just like picked this up. Was just kind of like looking at it. Never really heard of it. It's called Basic Programming for the Atari 2600. Didn't really know what it was. And he's just like, that's $2. And I didn't really want it. And as I was walking away, he's like, you want it for $1? And I'm like, I don't even have an Atari, but for $1, you know, it can't go wrong. And apparently this was something that users could buy to like do like home programming on their Atari. One of the few games on the Atari. Pretty rare, never really took off. So definitely a good thing to add to the collection.
Or are you just looking? See if I can catch you slipping.
Okay, so this first guy we find, because you know we're looking for anything like mantiques. You know what I'm saying? Thus the name. This guy, he was selling some Star Wars stuff, and then we saw these starting lineups. Now when we sold at a yard sale a couple weeks ago, me and Ian, this guy was looking for starting lineups and offered a lot of money for it. Okay, so when I went there, I had it in my mind that I was looking for some starting lineups. Had a Barry Bonds, a couple good ones. And he was asking $70, and he wanted to sell it as a set, and that was kind of out of my price range. If I had a lot more money, I might buy it. I'd try to haggle them down, obviously. Then we go to this other stand, and they had bins and bins full of starting lineups. Now they had no Barry Bonds, no huge, you know, rare ones in there. But they had a lot of them, and I just sift through them. Really, found a lot of good ones.
Ken Griffey.
We'll come back up.
It's probably a lot. Are you gonna buy those? Huh? See, what about these things?
Yeah, see, I saw those, and I don't know.
Are they?
I'm not sure.
How much do they want?
I'm not sure. I know the.
Second stand, sports memorabilia stand we went to was in that storage locker. I'm looking for those starting lineup figures. Found a couple tubs full of them. Picked up this 1993 Mark McGwire starting lineup figure. I know these are pretty popular nowadays, so definitely had to get a few of these. Next one, the Ken Griffey one. This is 1991 and it has the coin with it. I guess not a whole lot of them came with the coin. Next one is a Bo Jackson one, 1991. This one as well comes with a coin. So definitely always looking to pick up some starting lineups if I can get it on the cheap. And he was actually selling all 3 of these. He was doing 3 for $5. So pick those up. So, on our way out of the flea market, we were making our last trip around this aisle near the road where we didn't stop by, and we see this guy. He's selling a lot of DVDs, and he's got a lot of new games. But then we see all these older systems, N64, Sega Genesis, stuff like that, and it was literally just a system. So we asked, hey, you got any games for these systems? And he's like, yeah. He brings us in the back of the storage locker where it's kind of off limits, didn't really have anything to sell. And he had a couple tubs full of NES, Super Nintendo, and there was a few box Sega Genesis games. So we took a look at those, and he just kept bringing out bins and bins full of stuff. Next one's 2 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take a look at the NES one.
Yeah.
Silent service again. That game that I just bought. Probably gonna get this one.
Gotcha.
Although I think you need the gun for. Yeah, guns here. I don't have the zapper, but I'm just gonna buy the game.
Is it the shotgun thing?
Okay. I'll take these 3. Okay, I'll just take a few then.
Alright. I'll be right back. I go get the change.
Okay.
What'd you get, dog?
Phantom Fighter, Astyanax, and Gotcha the Spot. That one, the price is that, but $15. Not a horrible deal.
While we were at Antique World, we saw a lot of military surplus stands. I'm a huge fan of any military stuff. Huge collector myself. We have a local surplus store. I go there, at least I used to go there probably about twice a month. Now I only get there a couple times a year. But definitely anytime I see any military stuff, I'm definitely going to take a look at it. Usually stuff at flea markets are priced a lot more reasonable than at the flea market. Or I'm sorry, at surplus stores. So I definitely take a look out for anything military related.
They sell it themselves later, which is terrible, but I know how they run it. It's
I want to use George, our Bruce, because he's got a...
Oh yeah, George.
For my sister to stay.
Okay, picked this up. He originally wanted $3. It's a Kenny Bernstein Budweiser King dragster. I'm a huge fan of NHRA and drag racing in general, so I had to pick this up. Trying to get this out.
I'll break it.
Try not to. Like I said, $2. Originally wanted 3. Haggled them down a little bit, and it's probably gonna go in my personal collection. Have a lot of racing memorabilia, lots of signed die-casts. I love buying drag racing die-casts, so I'm definitely gonna hold on to this one.
Per se.
Pretty successful day.
I would say so, yeah. I definitely will have to go back, you know, get some things listed, you know. But,
At that game next week.
Play some games, yeah. But yeah, we'll be back, yeah, here again, yeah.
Shout out.
Well, he's more popular, so wouldn't he do a shout out to me?
No.
Okay. Shout out to Grimsy42, real great local Buffalo area video game hunter, I should say. Been with the Game Chasers a lot, so you know, definitely check out his channel. Got a lot of great stuff, and I know I watch it almost anytime you upload the video.